beanie or toque weather if you're in Canada. Sun's just about up, and there definitely was a storm last night and it was pretty heavy, so glad to be here. It's clearing up this way. There's a little bit of cloud left over there. Gonna put the stuff on the bike and get going. There are only roadhouses and service stations for the next 1,128 kilometres, with the next town being in Western Australia. So it's best to fill up when you come across one. Just stopped to stretch the legs and a toilet break, and it is fresh, cold. I think it was 7 when I started this morning. I've got enough gear on. It's just when you stop it gets really cold. So I've got about 100 kilometres to go till I get to the Nullarbor Roadhouse, which will be the first stop for the day. Well, major stop. I'll get something to eat. Oh, hope the sun comes out. Ooh. New tyre seems to be doing the job, no issues, so that's good. Staying up, so I didn't pinch it while putting it on. Always a good thing. Yes, and when I came in I thought that was rock on the ground, and no, it was moss and soft ass. Had to find a stick pretty quick. Oh, go for a run or something. Come on, son, you can do it. Fairly quickly the rain clouds appeared again, and it started to spit. So I pulled over and pulled out the onesie rain suit. It's a tight squeeze with a puffer jacket on. And a couple of minutes later, the rain began to fall. The trees all started to disappear as I reached the edge of the Nullarbor Plain. The name Nullarbor literally means no trees. So it is flat, and as you can see, there are virtually no trees. It is the world's largest single exposure of limestone bedrock and is about 200,000 square kilometres. At its widest point, it stretches about 1,100 kilometres. This is the old Nullarbor Roadhouse. It started selling fuel in 1956. The current roadhouse was built when the road was sealed in 1976. After fueling up and getting something warm to eat, I left the roadhouse. Well, I'm supposed to be in a dry, desolate place, and it just keeps raining. What is it with South Australia and water and wind? Maybe it's just me. Anyway, another rain squall about to come in. Can't really show you the deserty Nullarbor when it's raining. And I'm not sure what the Great Australian Bight's going to be like to see with all this cloud cover. I was going to test the new back tyre on the old Eyre HWY, which is this dirt track up here, which runs parallel, but I might do that anyway. Hopefully it's not too muddy. Maybe it'll warm me up having to move so much. It is, did I say it was like 7-8 degrees? Wind chill factor is even colder. Anyway, on and upwards. Like a dirt road to lift one's spirits, and the fact it's not raining anymore and it's not as cold. Wind's still up, but that's okay. I might take the onesie off too and continue on this fun little track, or old Eyre HWY. The track was in pretty good condition, with only a few spots you had to pay attention. It is such a vast, empty place that seems to go on forever. I turned left here and headed back towards the coastline and the Eyre HWY, so I could get to the Great Australian Bight. Back up to highway speed, the headwind became an issue again, and man was it strong. So I tucked in as low as I could get to try and help slice through it. Another landing strip for the Royal Flying Doctors. I came upon a caravan, so I stayed behind it for a bit to get a break from pushing into the headwind. There is the track I wanted to take, so I turned around. I'd made it to the Great Australian Bight. It's like you're standing on the edge of the world. The Great Australian Bight is the longest line of sea cliffs in the world, and also the longest south-facing coastline in the world. Well, this is where I was going to camp. But again, South Australia's weather, wind and water, seems to be dictating just about everything. There's nothing to even hide behind trees, even big shrubs, so you probably can't hear me, it's so windy. Stunning, but I might have to head towards the WA border, which I think is about 60-70 k's away before sundown. I think there's at least a building or something there that I can, hide behind. Bright basically means open bay. I made my way back towards the Eyre HWY.
there was another place along the bight that could be a potential campsite if it had somewhere that could block the wind. So I took the dirt track. Insane views, but again, nothing to hide behind from the wind. Then, all of a sudden, the engine died. That would be right. It's the end of a long, hard day riding through the rain and into a strong headwind all day in the middle of basically nowhere, the Nullarbor. Perfect timing. So, I pulled off the road. I noticed the kill switch was on, so I turned that off and tried to start the bike again. And it did. Then I spotted the cause. The wire to the grip warmers was across the kill switch. Previously I'd mentioned that the glue holding the grips had failed, so the grip would slide. Now it had gone right the way around, so the wire was over the kill switch. I'd made it to the South Australian Western Australia border and the quarantine station. They're not big fans of being filmed. But basically they're checking for fruit and vegetables and other plant matter as they want to keep out pests and diseases that could affect their farming produce. For example, fruit flies. The sun was about to set. Luckily Eucla was just down the road. And I knew of a tree-lined fence in a camping ground that should be good protection from the wind. So that's where I headed. They had campsites left. Hopefully the one I was thinking of wasn't taken. I navigated my way through the RVs and caravans. And yes, the spot I'd been thinking of wasn't taken. Well, that ended up being a big day. All day into that wind. So I've tucked myself in here behind these trees. It's the only thing I could find that's out of the wind, unless I go and camp next to a caravan. So I'm going to sit up here. May or may not get wet, but at least the wind won't get under into the tent. I say that now. Alright, before it rains, I'm going to put this up. Luckily, the rain skirted around where I was and just produced rainbows. Finally, camp set up and we're all good. We've left South Australia and it seems we've left the rain and the wind behind. Don't want to speak too soon, but it's calmed down. Driving into that wind the whole day was brutal. But part of it all, I guess. Tomorrow is another long day, just straight across WA is a really big state if you don't know. It's bigger than most countries. So we've got to get across and then we're going to, I think it's Newman or something like that, and we head down towards Esperance. I've been to Esperance before, but I haven't been around the bottom of the coast, so it'll be good to go right around the bottom, then head back up towards Margaret River and Perth. That's the rough plan. It could change, as always. How good was the old Eyre HWY? You can literally do that the whole way across too, if I haven't mentioned that. It's just cool. It was a good break mentally. It was like I was just like roar, getting there, and then it was like, oh, dirt, oh, all's good again. Alright, I'm gonna get something to eat and then pass out and get ready to ride tomorrow. Some cool clouds and some sand dunes over there. See ya.
Another week, another day, another hour since you went away, and so cliche you didn't say goodbye. I've been waiting for so long, still debating.